Yeah, this is the gear episode for Gun Talk Hunt. Oh yeah, dude. I'm talking about all the gear that I use this year that people are absolutely gonna love. And that's all right here, right now on Gun Talk Hunt. All right, welcome in Gun Talk Hunt fans. I'm your host, KJ, and today it's all about gear. I'm kind of running through the gear that I absolutely loved. So if you're listening over the airwaves, I encourage you to go over to our Facebook page or our YouTube page to give this one a look, because you're going to want to see what is going on the screen, because I've got it all laid out here. There's only a couple that I unfortunately don't have up here, but that's only because I had to send them back. So without further ado, this Gun Talk Hunt is brought to you by Savage Arms. I will tell you this much. The Savage Arms I went through in Kodiak absolutely just, it ate everything Kodiak had to feed. And that was the Savage 110 Ultralight in 270 Winchester, which I will get back to. Okay, so that's going to all circle back, but this is brought to you by Savage Arms. Thank you for your support. We really do appreciate it. And without Savage Arms, we couldn't bring you this lovely content. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, well, this is something I could get into. It's all about gear. It's all about hunting. It's bringing different guests throughout the firearms industry, special guests. If this is kind of your bag of tea, this is where you want to be. But you need to subscribe, and you need to like, and you need to follow Gun Talk on any of our social platforms. That's Gun Talk Media. So guntalk.com is where you can find everything, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. So let's jump into it. This is a very gear heavy, so I guess I'll start with in the field fixes. I always kind of brought a couple of tools. You know, if you go out black powder hunting or anything like that, you definitely know the need to go in prepared. And that's kind of what I've started to learn. And Chris Serino is working with us now, and he is a world-renowned trainer and just an overall great guy. And I really learned from him the value of going into the field more prepared than I usually am, which a lot of times I've started to bog myself down with stuff that's not really needed. But I will encourage everyone to my dying breath to get a set of fix-it sticks. They come in a bigger, smaller package than this, but this is the one, actually, Chris Serino. It's an all-in-one torque wrench set. Has all your popular sizes, but this one, I mean, it's got your wrench set here, but Fix-It Sticks really does a good job. Wheeler Tools makes one similar to this. It's a little bit smaller set that I really like. That's in my range bag. This goes with me everywhere. This will stay in my truck, oddly enough. That way I can always have it on hand, and I always remember it. I like it so much, I bought a second one to keep on my workbench at home, but it has everything that you need in a handy little set. And it's got Velcro patches where you can outfit it to make it yours. So Fix-It Sticks and Wheeler Tools really make a good one. So check those out. Again, when you go into the field, you can never be underprepared. I guess you could be, but this really is important. Let's talk about, I guess the end of the barrel. And I've been hunting with, and I haven't sent it back yet. Whatever you do, don't tell Silencer Central. But I haven't sent this back yet. I'm kind of hoping all the paperwork went through and I can just hold on to it. But this is the Backcountry Banish 30. So the Backcountry from Silencer Central, and absolutely love this little can. It is a 30 caliber can. It's direct thread. I like direct thread for my hunting guns because I can throw it on any gun. I've used this in Alaska. I've used this in Oklahoma. Soon to be, I'm going to use it in Texas, and I'm also going to use this in Nebraska. So, well, that is as long as they let me keep it. Super easy to clean. One tip I will give you is I just, on the end of my threads, I'll put a little anti-seize on there, and I'll put some anti-seize on there, let it go, and it's easy to do. And as always, Silencer Central does a great job if you're looking to buy a suppressor. I've got a buddy who's about to buy his first suppressor, and I'm going to tell him Silencer Central is the way to go for ease of use, because they send everything to you. And I walk through the same steps you guys do. I don't get any backdoor deals or anything like that. So very handy to have, and it doesn't take up any weight. I think this was like maybe 5.7 inches long, and it doesn't weigh much. This is their lightest can they offer just for the backcountry hunters. And then since we're still in the field, we're still on the gun, I want to give a special shout out to Loophole. It's the Pro Guide CF436. It's easy to carry in and out. It's easy to throw in my backpack. I'm using a Kafaru 44 mag backpack, and so this can slip into the side, but it has an Arc-A-Lock right here. Why this is important is because you can attach your cameras, you can attach your binos, you can attach your spotting scopes, your hog saddles, if that is what you are shooting. Now, I will say this. This is an old way of thinking about things. When I got this hog saddle, it was, oh my gosh, it was like 8 years ago. Very cool. This actually might be a pig saddle. Either way, it's a saddle. To affix your gun and to lay your gun in the middle, it compresses down, holds your gun steady into place. It's very easy to use. Very good for youth hunters. My boys have shot all of their deer off of this hog saddle. So there is a certain amount of, I guess, sentimental value to this hog saddle just because of that. But other than that, this is somewhat of a, I don't know, I don't want to say archaic because it's not that old. And this was actually a gift from a good buddy, Tom Austin, at TNVC. And they do great night vision stuff, so check out all their stuff. But this has an aftermarket ARCA rail on it, an ARCA attachment. And I got it off of Amazon for, I think, like $7, maybe $7 or $8. So pretty cheap to outfit. I outfit my guns, I outfit all my cameras, everything with these little ARCA attachments, because they always seem to go missing on me. I don't know why. But anyway, so why is this kind of old technology? One, it is heavy. I noticed this, and I did carry this into Alaska with me, into the backcountry of Alaska, and ounces count. I mean, they just count. And I learned a lot of that hunting with some phenomenal backcountry hunters. That, man, when you're trimming down weight, you got to save wherever you can. And this is one of those pieces that you kind of pick it up and you're like, whew, that's a lot, but you can't, like, you want to go in with it. You want to go in with support, and shooting sticks, if you can get away with it, go for it. Getting back to it, this is the Loophole. Easy controls right here. And it does have a little level on it, but easy controls, slim line. It is smooth, and I can shoot this almost to prone. Give me the right terrain, and I'll be able to get into that right position. But yeah, a nice smooth ball head on it. Again, spotting scopes, your binos, but your gun. How do you affix a gun to this? Well, gosh, the name's going to escape me. But there's some websites out there that make aftermarket ARCA rails. And it'll come to me down the way of this podcast. But so you can affix the ARCA rail to your gun. They are lightweight, usually typically made out of like aluminum or something like that. But it'll affix to your gun, which will then allow you to only use this tripod as your shooting rest. So you won't need an attachment and the hog saddle. And I think Bog Pod makes some saddles that are pretty good too. But to be able to use just a tripod and only take this in the field rather than this and this, again, see, you're cutting out ounces. But again, if you're listening to this over the airwaves, you're going to want to look because I'm showing all this stuff off. I'm showing you what's what. But this tripod, I got to test out from Loophole. So Sean Skipper over there, thank you very much. But it has been on many a deer, many a coyote, and many a hog hunts. So definitely worth its weight. Like if I'm looking at taking something into the field, that's one of the things that I'm for sure going to have on me. Another one, this was a purchase, and this is in plastic bag now because I had to buy 2 sets of them. These are some of the best rings that I've ever come across. And I'm familiar with MDT. If you guys aren't familiar with MDT, I highly suggest you go check them out. They make great stuff. Really geared towards the long range shooter. These rings are very good. These are aluminum rings. I really like them. They've got 4 hex screws up top to lock everything in nice. And they have 2 hex screws to lock in the bases. So if you look in there, a really secure platform. Now, I think I was like 4 days out when I got the gun ready and dialed in. And then these rings came in and I wanted to switch out my rings. But a little trick that Todd Bonnera, over at Maniacal Firearms, taught me is he walked me through the, he really fashioned these rings and really honed them out to my scope. And I guess he does that on all of his rings, but it was an interesting process because I've never done that with rings, and these are coated. So he was just getting an even surface all the way through that ring. So that scope makes positive contact evenly inside that ring. So a little extra step in mounting a scope that I haven't done, but definitely made me think about it. But MDT rings, I think these ran me like $119. So they are not cheap rings. Trust me. I hope my wife's not watching this podcast. So moving on down, let's talk about Hornady CX. I set out, and there's a video gonna pop up into our feed here any day now, about me finding a bullet and finding a load for a 6.5 Creedmoor that my boys are gonna shoot. It's a 6-hour cross rifle. And I know there are gonna be a million guys out listening, a million guys, gals out there listening to this podcast and saying, why on earth are you letting them shoot the 6.5 Creedmoor? Well, because I've had really good luck with it. And I started out with a Nosler AccuBond long range bullet, and I didn't think that would work given how close I thought the shots were going to be. And the CX, which is like a copper expanding. So it is a monolithic copper alloy that holds together, and I thought it would work great, and I was right. These suckers are 120 grains, and I forget what I paid for them, but I found them, thank goodness. But what I wanted to do is, and I'll kind of give you guys a look again, if you're listening to this over the airwaves, I apologize. But 44.4 grains of, I'm using Winchester Stayball 6.5 powder and Hornady casing that was once fired. But I spent the whole season dialing in this round for my boys to use. And I did not shoot a deer with these, but they did. They shot 2. One, just a giant, and the other one was a great sized deer, a really, really nice deer. First shot was 100 yards, and when he shot a little far back, big exit wound on that animal because offside deflected off of a back rib. And then he put one more into the only hole that he could, which was a neck shot, and the deer fell right there. The next son, which was my oldest, took a little further shot. He shot about 160 yards, slightly quartering to. And so typically on a shot like that, you want to aim a little bit far forward to hit lung and all that good stuff back there. He hit it perfect, traveled the length of the body, and had another. I mean, it didn't stop, and that deer was dead within 10 yards. So I was really happy with the performance of the CX, even though the naysayers out there will probably roast me, and that's fine. If 6.5 is not your jam, that's okay. That's okay. Use what you use what you want. But it's worked for me this year. Last year, I'm not going to get into it. Because last year was a little frustrating for me in the 6.5. We had a falling out. But the boys are doing good. Next, let's go with Illumination Peaks Duo, which I've talked about this before. This is just a little flashlight here. Really nice. You can tell it was on the red setting last time that I was using it. But I can capture that button and not let it get hit in my pack. Just by rotating that out just a little bit. And you see now the button won't get hit if it's rattling around in my pack. It is a dual headlamp, so you got a maximum power source. And you unscrew, I forget which side it is. It's the other side. So you kind of have a charging port right here. So it is rechargeable. Which I found very efficient. I charged this. There's the power port right there. I found it very efficient, very bright. There were times when the white light was just a little too bright to run, so I'd have to run it on the lowest setting because this is a powerful light. So if you're walking around in the backcountry or you're looking for a deer or you're looking for blood, man, I would highly recommend having this sucker right here. I also have a small stream light, like a little bit smaller one that I'll use just around camp. I'll save this one for field use only. So I'm not running around and running the battery out at camp. So I take 2 lights out with me. Now typically 3, now actually 4 because I'll carry a handheld. Let's get into, man, there's so much stuff here. But real quick, we're going to take a quick break, and I just want to thank our sponsor, Savage Firearms. Savage Arms is great. What they've launched, the 110 Ultralight, I absolutely love. They've done a fantastic job with that gun. It was a 270 Winchester that I took a Kodiak, Alaska blacktail with and absolutely anchored it. And I was thankful to save weight because they do run a proof research barrel on that sucker. And it's just nice to run. Speaking of Kodiak, let's talk about the 270 Winchester. And I was utilizing the Remington core locked tipped. This is the second or third year that I've used core lock tipped. They launched this well, would you look at that? I've shot all of these up. There's not a single one in here that is, I guess you could tell how much I like to shoot it because I saved the brass because we're gonna probably send this up to Tom Gresham so he can start reloading it. But core lock tipped is really designed for extended range hunting and that bullet opening up. It's a new deadliest mushroom in the woods. I think that's what the marketing folks say. But it really is efficient. In Alaska, everybody was shooting the 270 Winchester except one guy, but it took down 3 blacktail and a caribou. So a great little load here from Remington, and they're cranking out ammo the entire time. So 24/7, 7 days a week. 365. So I would really, man, if you're extending your hunting ranges, and that's to me, the shot on a Kodiak Alaska blacktail was only about 100 to 120 yards. So that's not really long range, but it still opened up and anchored that blacktail right there. So I didn't have to go traipsing through the tundra looking for a blacktail in brown bear country, which is awesome. Typically, none of us have to really deal with that. But if you're out west and you're looking for something that opens up at further distances and is pretty dang accurate, I'd definitely look at it. Is it the only one out there that does that? No. Nosler makes a lot of good stuff. Hornady makes a lot of good stuff. But I just happen to be using Remington because they sent me some ammo and I like it. And we've shot antelope with it. Same thing. They all go down. As long as you do your job, that thing will do its job. So that's what we look for, right? Man, looking at all of this stuff on the table, I'm very fortunate to have good friends across the firearms industry. And especially Matt Rice at Bushnell. And I know I've got loophole. I'm very brand agnostic. Like, I don't care as long as it works. I had a pair of the Fusion binos, probably for about 4 or 5 years. And this was, 6 or 7 years ago. And I used them, loved them. Matt Rice and I, we went out on a coyote hunt last year in Oklahoma, because that's where we're both from. And he slipped me a pair of these, and they are heavy. I'm not gonna lie to you. This isn't something that you would save weight on taking a rangefinder in, another pouch for that rangefinder. But this is all in one. These are 10x42s, Fusion range-finding binoculars. Fusion X is what these are. But easy controls, and what I really love about them is that dial right there. There's a little force, a little bit of pressure there needed to adjust the eye focus. Why is that important? So when you're out looking for binoculars, I mess with that quite a bit, because one thing that I do not want to do in the field is constantly raise them up and have to adjust them again. Then I put them in my pack, and all of a sudden they readjust and they get knocked off, and then I come back up and I can't see again. So that is a really nice feature, and I found that to be fairly accurate with all the Bushnell binoculars, but they are nice. And another thing he slipped me, typically I'm running a T&K hunting gear Gen 2 bino harness. This is the Bushnell Vault harness. And why didn't I switch these over to the Bushnell, or these over the T&K? Because I love them. I love that pouch so much. Because this one works. It looks good. It's slimline. They do have a piggybacker right here, like a sidecar. But this is the Vault from Bushnell, and it's a front opening, magnetized, quiet operation, which I like. So they did a really nice job on this. It kind of reminds me of maybe a marsupial gear bino harness, but no. The only thing that you're going to notice if you're doing any belly crawling and that opens up, that's going to be a little bit annoying right there. But the good thing is that it does collapse a little bit, so you don't have to worry about it. It's not that rigid, and it goes back to true form. So really nice, and I want to say these are only like $69, $89, something like that. So that's a good deal. The Fusion X's are not $89, FYI. All right, I got a couple more things to do. We'll clear these up real quick, get you guys out of here. I know you guys are busy, but again, smash the like, comment, whatever you got to do. If you want to hear about something, if you want me to test out something and give you guys a report on it, please feel free to message me. KJ@guntalk.com is where you can get me. Let's talk about edged weaponry. I am the worst when it comes to knives. I don't like to sharpen them. I'm not good at it. I'll be completely honest with you. I lost one of my favorite knives in Alaska, and that's from Filo Blade Works. I lost it. It fell off my bino harness, and if you find it in Alaska, give me a call. I will pay handsomely for that knife, but it's awesome, and it's very sharp. One of the surprise winners for me this year was this Gerber knife. This was a gift from a fellow hunter. He went on an antelope hunt with us. I think you know who you are. And this is my second year of use with this knife, and I'm shocked. I am floored how many deer this made it through. I think this made it through every single one of them, and it saved my bacon on a lot of them because I lost my Havalon briefly, and this one saved the day. This one broke down quarters. It is a heavier knife. If I'm headed in the backcountry, this might not be something I will take, but you can see here, this is a game used knife. This isn't a just, throw it in the pack and forget it type of deal. But this knife frickin' worked. And I was super impressed by it. And I bet you I can make it through a couple more deer with it, but really impressed with this one. Really like it. I would highly recommend this, but that was a gift. That was 100% gift that I will gift this to someone. Not that knife, because I like that one. But the Havalon really works for you. And I'm going somewhere with this. Havalon really works. And I think you guys know all this. These are replaceable blades. Not a lot of maintenance to do on these, but you got to clean them out. And I think if you're watching this, you're going to see that I do not adhere to that rule. I don't clean it out a lot. I clean it every once in a while, but it gets gummed up really easy. There's two fixes to this, and I'm going to give you a little trade secret here. One, throw it in the washer. Wash it, take you a brush. Toothpicks they work a little bit, but another little knife would work. But to clean out those channels for that blade, and you'll see here that they get gummed up very easy. This one is absolutely disgusting. Our producer behind the scenes, Benjamin, is absolutely disgusted right now that I'm even touching it because it's gross. Just because I use the gear. This was a Christmas present. This was a good Christmas present because it's been everywhere with me. But there is a new kid on the block that many of you might not know of. And this is gross. This knife is dropping stuff everywhere. I just got this one. This was another Christmas gift. So I learned about Tido knives from, and I know Aaron Snyder uses them and stuff like that. But I learned about this from Mike Hearn over at Free Range American. If you guys aren't familiar with him, go give him a listen. Go give him a read. Mike Hearn writes some killer content. The dude is an amazing hunter. I learned so much from him when we were in Kodiak together. But he introduced me to Tido. Tido knives, that is Tyto knives. Again, this is a Christmas present, so this is bought. I asked for this one because it is slick. So you'll notice on the Havalon, you've got a lot of places to gum up the mechanism because it is a folding knife, and the Tido knife is a fixed blade. Takes the same blades. So the Havalon 60A blades, which I've got right here, which again, that's another Christmas present right there for myself. But I'm telling you right now, it's a super light knife. I believe it's all aluminum, but easy to clean and easy to keep clean. So that's one of the key things about this is that I don't have to worry as much about getting it dirty and then not being able to clean out the entire mechanism, especially being a folder like the Havalon. So just keeping that in mind when you're looking for knives and stuff. FYI, they ran out of the solid orange ones, but I will be spray painting this orange because I would hate to lose this in the field like my other knife. So I'm still ate up about that. The last piece of gear is really something that I carry with me on the daily, whether I'm traveling or anything like that. It's very cheap on Amazon. I think I paid $6 for it. And it's just a cord organizer, like a cell phone cord organizer. But I use this for just about everything, camera batteries. But you can see in here, it keeps all my cords organized, and I always have them, again, very cheap to buy and keep yourself organized. I keep my cords on this side a lot of times, and other times I might keep, water tablets or something like that, like survival stuff on the other side, because it always just goes in the pack with me. Or I'll put a satellite solar charger for my phone on this one, on this side. That way I've got everything right there. I can charge it easy. Man, that's some of the cool gear that I got to use this year. One thing that I didn't make the table that I'll give you guys a clue on is that Nosler 21, that Model 21 CCH that I got to use this year on my whitetail hunt. Super slick gun, man. And I know it costs $4,500, like roughly around there. It's heck of worth it. I'm going to say that right now because that sucker shoots and it's dialed in, it's lightweight, it fits on the Loophole Pro Guide. So I would definitely recommend that. But you guys be safe out there. Always keep those muzzles pointing in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.